People are hurt, so they create armory. We feel unsafe, so we deploy trickery. To protect our sensitivity, we develop thick skin, thick skull, nothing intelligible gets in. We learn to speak without meaning, nothing substantial, just sound and air, nothing sensible, just suspicion and fear. Our scales are in balance, our emotions unbearable. We build walls so tall it's unassailable, hearts so protected it's unavailable. So many fractured relationships, so much trauma, so many scars. We're forced to create so many boundaries, they feel more like prison bars. We build forts to keep us safe, but it keeps us lonely. Our only friends, our own only fans, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat. Are we just sleepwalking? How did it get to that? How did it get this bad? Your YouTube algorithm knows you better than your dad. When we lack trust, we become dangerous. For lack of knowledge, my people perish. We wound those whom we ought to cherish. Lack of compassion causes vanity. Our greed leads us to insanity. We war and rape and capitalize. The rulers of this world are blind leaders of the blind. When will the masses open their eyes and realize we were sold a lie? Eye for eye, life for life, tooth for tooth. Some are toothless, but hunger for truth. Others are blind and ruthless. No longer are brothers keepers, they have become grim reapers. The grimace because they dress their bloodthirst as righteous retribution. Arrogance convinced the egotists to turn vice into institution. Unassailable, written by Patrice Elliott, 13th of May, 2024. I want to offer an explanation for this piece of writing, but before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and do leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video, and also don't forget to press the like button. Your interaction helps this content to reach more people. People are hurt, so they create armory. We feel unsafe, so we deploy trickery. To protect our sensitivity, we develop thick skin, thick skulls, nothing intelligible gets in. The armors we develop might be our attachment style, i.e. ambivalent attachment or insecure attachment. It also might be our defense mechanisms, which becomes our false personality traits to hide our true self. We also become two-faced, deceptive, so we may have this persona of being peaceful and agreeable on the outside, but underneath we have the temperament of a beast. To protect our sensitivity, we develop thick skin, thick skulls, nothing intelligible gets in. We learn to speak without meaning, nothing substantial, just sound and air, nothing sensible, just suspicion and fear. So when we are overly sensitive towards our own needs because of our emotional and psychological wounding, it makes us become insensitive to the needs of others. Nothing sensible, just suspicion and fear means that we don't always have any evidence for our behaviors, what we're feeling and how we behave according to our feelings. So that's why we end up arguing with people. And I say nothing substantial, just sound and air, because there's nothing of meaning really coming out of our mouths when we get ourselves very worked up and when we're in a fearful state. And also, we don't have the capacity to perceive reality correctly when we are overly upset. Our scales are imbalanced, our emotions unbearable. Whenever the chakras are misaligned, when they're not developed properly, then we are going to be psychologically and emotionally imbalanced. This is one of the causes of our emotional turmoil. Our life situation is going to affect the way our chakras develop, and even our past lives. Also, our scales are imbalanced refers to the left and right hemisphere, the imbalance between the masculine and feminine energy, and also the imbalances between the heart and the mind. So there are many different imbalances within the individual themselves. The more balanced we are within our own self, the more we are able to manage and cope with the external situations that come up in our lives. We build walls so tall it's unassailable, hearts so protected it's unavailable. So many fractured relationships, so much trauma, so many scars. We're forced to create so many boundaries, they feel more like prison bars. We build forts to keep us safe, but they keep us lonely. The life events of some individuals have caused them to become so depressed and so anxious that they are isolated. Some persons, it's physically isolated, where they're in their homes or by themselves, or maybe just their partner or cat, or and some persons might be in crowds but are still isolated. They feel disconnected from everyone and everything, and although they may be smiling on the outside, on the inside they may feel very disconnected. When we lack trust, we become dangerous. For lack of knowledge, my people perish. We wound those whom we ought to cherish. From an individual perspective, you'll notice that whenever you don't trust people, how it makes you feel. Like if you're at home living with people whom you don't trust, it makes you feel uneasy. It also makes you feel aggressive. You're more likely to act in aggression towards those people because you don't trust them, and maybe they don't trust you, and so you're not treating each other well. When there is lack of trust in the home, everyone suffers, especially children. So this is what it means by lack of trust makes us dangerous, and that we wound those whom we ought to cherish. The soul depends upon love for its nourishment, and if we are not feeling loved, if we don't feel safe, because if we don't feel loved, we don't feel safe, and if we don't feel safe, we become quite aggressive. Now, this is something that's used against us by governments. It may sound like a conspiracy to some persons, but I think those people who are interested in this type of content understand. We know that governments have actually used fear and the idea of terrorism and weapons of mass destruction to cause the people to want the government to go to war with other races on their behalf to protect them. And so this is our history, and it's our present, and so we understand that fear causes us to become dangerous. We become the aggressors when we become fearful. When we're in a state of fear, we're more easily exploited. And this is why fear has been used as a main tactic. They even use fear to sell products, where they show us a problem, highlight a problem that we have, and then they tell us they're going to have the solution for it, So commercials do it, but, companies do it when they're trying to sell products, and government do it when they're trying to, make a war. A lot of money is made from war for companies and many institutions, so this is why war is perpetuated. It was Christ who said, for lack of knowledge, my people perish, because he wanted us to start to understand who we are and our place in the world. He wanted us to get grips with the power we have to heal ourselves, to heal each other. And also when it comes to the idea of an eye for an eye, life for life, tooth for tooth, this is straight from the devil. This is what Satan said, life for life. Moses' law allowed us to settle our differences by taking revenge, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. But this is not what Jesus taught. Jesus said, if someone hit you, smack you on the cheek, you should turn the other cheek. If somebody asks you to go 1 mile, go 2 with them. If somebody takes your coat, give them your cloak as well. So Jesus was for peace, because what Christ understood is that with all this violence, we are never going to ascend. We need peace in order for us to be able to ascend to higher realms. All of these lower attributes of self, murder, killing, revenge, this keeps us anchored to the earth plane, and we will never ascend to higher dimensions if we continue in those behaviors. Christ said he did not come to abolish the law, that he came to transcend the law. Because there are certain laws that we are bound to within this reality. However, we can transcend law by using a higher law against another law. This is what the Hermetics teaches. After Cain had killed his brother, God asked, "Where is your brother? His blood cries out to me." And Cain says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" So Cain, we have the spirit of Cain when we murder our brothers, when we are not our brother's keepers. That's why we are the grim reapers. We are reaping each other, and we also cover up our bloodthirst. There is the Crusaders, and even now with certain wars that are going on, they try to say that they are in the right, the other people are the bad guys, and they are doing the right thing by killing innocent children, innocent civilians, but they still see themselves as the good guys. So this is what it means by the grimace, because they dress their bloodthirst as righteous retribution. I will also add that slander is a type of murder, and so we ought to be careful when we try to take revenge by slandering another person's character. That is called character assassination for a reason. We must remember that we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, so we mustn't try to make out that we're better than persons. If somebody even harms us, we have to be careful how we represent them when we are speaking about the situation. And the last line that says, arrogance convinced the egotist to turn vice into institution. Britain are so proud of themselves, Great Britain, and the Queen giving, I haven't heard the King yet giving speeches, but I've heard the Queen giving speeches about the Commonwealth. So proud of the wickedness and the evils of their ancestors and the evils they continue to do by oppressing so-called third world countries, creating poverty, creating oppression and oppressive systems, and so much pain, and yet they're so proud of it. So they have made institutions out of their violence, their bloodthirst and egotism and their arrogance. These people believe they have the right to oppress because they are better than others. Those who follow Christ, i.e. the way of spirit, they will protect, guide, and teach others. And those who follow the devil / egotism, they rob, steal, kill, and destroy anything that is not of benefit or anything that does not glorify themselves. You can probably hear the exhaustion in my voice. I'm so tired. I'm trying to keep up with making videos, at least 2 per month. So I picked up the blueprint for the house, and hopefully in the next video I should be able to show you the land or any progress that we've made. For anyone new to the channel, just so you know what I'm talking about, I am currently living in Jamaica. I was asked by Spirit to come out to build a spiritual retreat. I will offer meditation, philosophy, energy healing, psychotherapy, aka shadow work, and also plant medicine. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe and do share with like-minded persons. And until next time, love, light, life.